these came out in literally like 15 minutes. Now I did have the bike kind of stripped already, but still, that was quite impressive for such an old bike. All right, Luna, rebuild those, and I want them on my desk first thing in the morning. I guess I'll do it myself. All right, so my assistant and I got the carbs off. That was a huge pain in my butt. 3 of the screws in here were stripped, like pre-stripped, stripped before I got to them. Somebody tried to do this before and gave up. So I had to drill them out, and I even had to get the Dremel out for one of them. But it was all successful. I got a bunch of pictures and got them all apart. Luckily, there's a lot of information online about rebuilding these, so that's good. I once rebuilt the carburetor on the Mighty Max with its original engine, and there was no information about that online, and I was able to get it done. So I'm confident in my ability to rebuild these. Now, there is one problem that does kind of suck. I don't know if you can see, but I cracked an entire piece off this carburetor right here. I think I'm just going to clean it up and use JB Weld on it. I've seen a lot of different opinions on that, but I've always had JB Weld work for me. If you get it clean and apply it well and let it cure all the way, I don't think you're going to have a problem. So that's what I'm going to do. Worst case, people sell new ones of these on eBay, but I just don't think I need it. I think the JB Weld will work. It's a good thing I'm taking these apart to clean them. They are pretty crusty. These things are supposed to push and come right back. They don't. So definitely need a really good cleaning, so they're going to get one. And I've got them all separated and stuff. Alright, so we've got the first carb stripped apart, the one that is broken, sadly. You can see the piece of it right there. We've got it stripped apart into all these pieces. I've got them in these little cups to keep them separate, and we're going to soak them, get them clean. Got all the pieces in there. And what I got to soak them with, as recommended by a lot of people online, is Pine Sol. So I'll probably have to get a little bit more. I may not have enough for all these little cups and stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna soak them in Pine Sol and let them soak overnight, and then get them out and put it back together. And to keep from confusing myself, I'm just gonna do one carb at a time, and hopefully I can keep up with that. So I'm gonna do my best, and we'll see how it goes. But not too bad so far. All right, we got all the little pieces for this soaking in these little cups, and then all the bigger pieces soaking in this bin over here. I had to add a little bit of water to this one, but not much, so should clean pretty well. I guess we'll see. All right, time for a little update. 2 carburetors are done. It's an old one for reference. It doesn't actually look a whole heck of a lot cleaner, but the insides did have a bunch of gunk in there. They don't anymore, so you know, I feel good about it. Pretty good track of where everything went. We'll see though when it's time to put all 4 back together. So those 2 are done. Number 3 is soaking, and then we'll hit number 4. After that's done, we'll throw it all back on the bike and see if we can't get it to start. In the meantime, I got my new master cylinder. This is just what I was talking about, the eBay special. It was like $10, and it seems to work. Again, it feels a little light, but we tried spinning the wheel and hitting the brake, and it does stop the wheel. So yeah, we'll have to see. A couple bubbles left in there, but it seemed like it's gonna work, and it looks good. It looks like it goes on this bike. It's not that different from this one over here, and it was a lot cheaper than buying one that's actually for a Magna. It was like 80 bucks for those. So yeah, hopefully it works. In the meantime, I'm just looking at, I got some fuel hose, and I'm just looking at what kind of route I need to run for the fuel hose so that I'm ready to just hook it up when I throw the carbs on. And to bleed the back brakes. Of course, I still don't have a master, so I wasn't really going to bleed it, but basically this screw back here stripped out, and I just helicoiled it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but just put a helicoil in there, and there's just a bolt sitting there for now. I ordered a bleeder screw that is the thread of these helicoils that I just happen to have. If I can make that work, that'll be fantastic. If not, then I'll just leave the bolt in there and JB weld it if I need to, and we'll just try and bench bleed it. Not ideal, but should work. So other than that, I've just what to do for ignition on it. And as you know, I've been running a wire from the battery to this wire here. purposes, you know, to see the bike power on. Obviously that's not ideal. When I turn the key here, nothing happens, but I did unplug the ignition switch, and it was this plug here. Let me turn the light on. So I did unplug the ignition switch and tried to just jump wires here. And so this is the power right here, and then this is ignition. And when I bridge them, what do you know? We get power to the bike. So feel good about that. Basically know that this switch is bad, so I need to buy another one or make one or something. So that's good to know. One less thing to worry about. And also I have a new starter relay on the way, but until it gets here I can't do nothing. Like I said, I have a new brake master cylinder for the clutch, or sorry, for the rear brake coming in. And it's not exactly for this bike either, another eBay special, but like I said, the ones for this bike were like $100, and those ones need to be rebuilt. So, you know, I'm gonna have to make something aftermarket work. The only thing I'm really worried about is it mounts here, and then it runs a bar down here and connects to that. That may be tricky to get it to connect. So I have no idea if the bar is going to be that same thread pattern. If it was, that'd be amazing, but I'm not counting on it. May end up having to drop the exhaust so that I can work on that, because it is not very accessible at all. But you know, I'll worry about it when I get to it. We'll figure something out. We're slowly but surely making progress on this thing. Alright, so I got this switch rigged up to where I can use it to test the bike. Sadly there's no battery right now, but I should have took video before I took it out, but it works. It turns the bike off and on, so it's useful. Other than that, now I'm just about to run the fuel stuff. I've already found the fuel relay. Let's see, this is it right here, fuel pump relay. And so I'm just gonna run a wire to that and then ground the other wire in the fuel pump. We'll be good to go. But to help simplify my life, I'm gonna delete all this emissions related like vacuum stuff. Looked up on some forums for what I need to do to delete it, and basically you just pull them and then cap on the carbs where that line goes, and then run a breather where they connect to the engine down here. So that's what I'm gonna do. That'll make things a lot easier here, I think. So anything that makes things more simple is something that I'm down for, absolutely. All right, time for another little update here. We got all 4 carbs have all been soaked, and all the little pieces have been soaked, and they're basically rebuilt. I'm waiting on a new plumb thing for the choke for this carburetor right here. As you can see, the end broke off this one. There should be a little nub right here that these forks grab, but it broke off because of something the previous owner did. So got another one coming in. So when it comes in, I can reassemble that, and then once these are all together, I can try to assemble them together on this thing. And so this thing's just soaking in the meantime. Sadly, it doesn't quite fit in there, so I'm just gonna have to rotate it, but it's not a big deal. And then these are the boots that go from the carb to the engine. So these I'm gonna soak as well, and it should help me finagle the carbs back onto the engine easier. So wish me luck there. Feel good about them, but I've only rebuilt a carb once before, and I kind of felt the same way about it, and it worked great. So, you know, I feel good about these. I think the tricky part will be assembling them back together the way they were. Like I said, I ordered new fuel and air tubes, so also I need those before I can move forward with this. But, you know, it's all coming in. All the action on these things works, so, you know, I feel good about it. I think it's gonna work. In the meantime, I've just been working with electricals. As I said, I got this switch right here to power the bike on. Now, for whatever reason, the fuel pump relay is not working. So I've just got a switch down here that's gonna run the fuel pump. So that's good to go. Obviously, I need to touch some wires. And then my other concern was the radiator fan. There was some ghetto wiring going on with it. And so I just tore it out and basically threw in a switch and a fuse. I need to find a place to mount it, but we have a radiator fan now. So basically, I'm just trying to get this thing to where it's going to be ready to turn on and run it and bleed coolant and stuff, and try and drive it whenever the carbs get back together. Like I've said, we have front brakes now, but still no rear. Still waiting on the bleed screw to come in and the new master cylinder as well. So there's going to be more work to do, but she's definitely getting there. And even if I can't drive it yet, once the carbs are done, I should be able to start it and hear it run. So I deleted all this air stuff. Basically, these two boxes are connected together. One end goes to the carbs, and I'm just going to cap that in. And then the other end, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. The other end goes right there. You can see a rubber hose connected to a metal tube that went to the vacuum. And so I just ran the hose up and put a little breather on it right here. So that should be fine. And really, that's all I've got for now. I'm at one of these points where I'm just waiting for parts. I probably will take the time and clean up these wires and figure out where I'm going to mount switches, but that's all I can do for now.